And welcome back to Cooperative Conversations here on the Halo, Ringworld's weird, stunted, confusing nephew that they met for the first time at summer camp. This is where I'm gonna not only talk about Unreal a lot, but also talk about one of my favorite books, which is Larry Niven's Ringworld. Which,
let's do it.
This game is not so subtly ripping the hell off. So, speaking of Unreal, though, we made our way through a spaceship overrun by an alien force, and we have now crawled out of a wreck onto an open expanse in an alien landscape. I remember doing that in Unreal 3 years prior to this.
I mean, it's even, like, really, actually very similar. You got a waterfall, you got a big cliff.
Yeah.
You can, look down over.
You can't jump down, though. Don't do that.
No.
You'll just die.
Alert! Covenant dropship inbound.
So,
being harried along.
Yeah, this, however, is where Halo differs from Unreal, where those first steps off of the Vortex Rikers onto the surface of Napali were more than happy to let you take in some time to breathe and look at the atmosphere, explore those secluded Nali huts, find that the native populace had tried caring for some of your fellow prisoners or crew of the ship or whoever because they were injured. We are immediately told to get moving, and we are shot at to make it happen. And that's because...
They literally drop enemies on your head.
And that's because, try as hard as you might, you will not find anything to explore in Halo. This expanse, yes, it's larger than anything you'd find in Unreal. It's very impressive, especially for 2001. Not saying it's not impressive, but there's some trees, some rocks, there's a waterfall. That's it. We've seen everything. If we go over there, we'll just see the waterfall closer up. If we go over there, we'll fight those enemies. There's no environment to get clues about. There's no data pads telling our fellow prisoners' thoughts about their new situation.
Yes, text logs. A trick that Bungie wouldn't learn until, I don't know, what year did Halo 3 come out?
2000s... It's either 7, 8, or 9.
Around there. But yes, there isn't really a whole lot to do except shoot and get shot.
Yeah, and even then, we have this wreck. Cortana says, they're going to search the wreckage. Even if we had made it all the way over that bridge and over here and crouched behind this rock, that Banshee would still have shot at us. Those enemies would still have been looking at us. They don't do anything except fight you. And that's going to become something I mention once we get a little more information about this big circle in space itself. So, let's move on, I guess.
Talking about things to do, I'm going to refer back to something mentioned in the previous episode. Halo had a very tumultuous and interesting development cycle. And endemic wildlife was absolutely something they intended to include in this game.
I believe it because, of course, again, in Unreal, one of the first things you can see once you get off the Rikers, you can look up and, wow, there's birds flying in the sky. There are little, Nali rabbits hopping around that don't do anything. There's fish in the ponds and the oceans.
There's, you can go online, you can find clips of like early builds. You can see them driving around on the Halo in the titular, the Warthog, the iconic off-roading vehicle. You can see like strange alien creatures flocking around them. For whatever reason, they couldn't get them to work. So,
And I'll be honest, Halo is much the worse for it.
I'm reading a
This
beacon over the next
environment,
door. We should check to
sure,
see
at the
if there are any
time it was...
survivors.
I mean, it doesn't really have the texture fidelity or color palette of Unreal, but it's pretty. It's well laid out. It's aesthetically pleasing.
and on release, it was running in your lounge room on your TV.
At a whole 360 pixels.
But yeah, the Halo of the series, the Halos, spoilers, they're quite barren and devoid of life, and there's a lot of narrative acrobatics to retroactively justify that.
Yeah,
But,
the narrative sure does make a lot of leaps and bounds, often jumping over entire pits full of places where better writers would put a story. Such
So,
as anybody commenting on this thing, we have come to a large structure. It's like a tower of some kind, and it shoots blue shit up there.
Heads up! I got a Covenant dropship heading in. Over
What is
here.
it?
it's the thing that shoots blue shit up there.
Let's take a look. Maybe there's a way inside. Well, not there. There's a ramp up. No door over here.
Well, I'll check up the ramp. Maybe there's a way up on the roof.
No, the other side isn't there.
No, there's no entrance up here.
That's weird. I wonder what the structure is for. At all. I wonder if we'll ever find it. We don't find out.
No.
It's...
The most you will get is other games later in the series will imply its function. And that ties right back into trying to retroactively justify things that aren't particularly great.
Yeah, as it stands, this structure is 1, to shoot this blue shit, and 2, to give us cover to hide behind.
Well, we need to hide behind cover. They've introduced a new enemy.
They have introduced the 3rd of 4th enemies of the Covenant.
Covenant dropship on approach.
It's the mercenary from Unreal. I mean, the Jackal.
Well, it's funny you say that, because now we get to dive into my favorite problem with the Halo series.
Oh, do tell.
So, the story of Halo, yeah?
Alright.
Most of the information that I will reference when we talk about things, or things that I will allude to, the deep lore of Halo, none of it's in the games. At
Not
all.
a single bit.
All of the information, well, not all, but of the lion's share, all of the important information, all the juicy bits, that's all in supplemental material. That's in books, comic books, animated adaptations, that sort of thing.
Yup.
So you say you compare these jackals to the mercenaries from Unreal.
Yeah, they got the wrist-mounted energy shield, and they use a dispersion pistol.
And it's funny you say that because in the supplemental material, the jackals are stated to be mercenaries. Hired guns that work for the Covenant solely for money.
Fascinating.
Right? Too bad the game never tells you that.
The game never tells you much of anything, and that's going to be a sticking point further on. And we're not really into it yet, so I don't want to spend too much time talking about it. But I mentioned it last time, Bungie has a problem that persists to this day. And that problem is that they can't tell a story to save their lives. They can write all the lore in the world, but they are just abysmal at conveying any information to the player.
They're terrible communicators.
I played a couple hundred hours of Destiny 2. It has good gameplay. That's what I know about it.
I would even say that it even has some fun character writing. Some of the characters in Destiny 2, hearing them chatter on your radio, it can be enjoyable.
Yeah.
But
But
for the narrative,
if you asked me who is Eris Morn, she looks like Sam Fisher. She lives on the moon. What are the Hive? They're like bug wizards, also from the moon. That wizard came from the moon. I'm told. I never played Destiny 1, so maybe I'm missing out. But I think a living MMO, game as a service, shooter sort of thing should make an effort to introduce some things to players who didn't have a PlayStation 3 and didn't want to pay for online, even if they did.
So, well, I mean, Destiny 2 kind of is slightly better because you got all those text entries for the weapons that give you some information.
Now, I'm a pretty avid reader. This isn't bragging, this is just something that ended up happening. Last year, I read 37 books. None of them were very short. You know what I've never really cared to do? Read any of the text entries in Destiny 2. And is it fair for me to complain about not being given information when I ignore the information given to me?
Roger, Echo
No.
490. This is Fireteam Charlie. We read you.
But
Is that you, Hammer?
let's let this lady
Roger,
talk.
Fireteam Charlie. Good to hear from you.
Familiar sounding
Hammer,
character.
We need transportation to the command shuttle.
I'm on my way.
Look, more lifeboats. They're coming in fast. If those
Ooh.
lifeboats make it down, the Covenant are going to be right on top of them.
Hammer, we need you to disengage your warthog. The Master Chief and I are going to see if we can save some soldiers.
Roger, Cortana.
So that's interesting. The
Okay, Charlie
escape
Team,
pods
we're
crashing
on deploy.
down.
That'll
Yeah.
happen. Give 'em hell.
Roger,
So,
Hammer. Stand by to evac survivors
we
and
abandoned the
transport them
Autumn.
to safety.
All hands abandoned ship,
Affirmative.
hit the
Echo
deck,
419, staying on
scramble
scene.
for cover.
Hammer out.
It's very chaotic. And we're collecting up the remnants of the Marines. So, the human forces are scattered all around the Halo.
Yeah.
It's worth mentioning because later on that's going to be, a little odd considering some of the things we're going to pull off.
But before we get in this strange-looking car that I think Elon Musk designed, is it fair for me to complain about not having information while I am, in fact, offered that information and am just choosing not to take it? No, probably not. But the thing is, Destiny 2 doesn't make the effort to make me want to know what's in those text boxes.
Well, the thing is, you don't
Nor-
have to know any of that information.
Well, that's also the thing, but nor do I want to interact with literally hundreds of single paragraph text boxes that I have to go through menus and wait to load each one. If Destiny 2 put 5 pages of
We
exposition
need that warthog if we
in
want to
a
get to the
menu,
other lifeboats in time.
I'd read it. But as it stands, I want to know what the hell Shadowkeep was about. Well, I have to go around and collect the lore fragments, do special challenges to unlock more of them, then go into a menu buried 6 or 7 clicks deep, and read each one individually for about 30 seconds before going to the next one. And Bungie is bad at conveying information. They've offered it to me, but they've made it not inaccessible, but unpleasantly accessible.
Well, you even missed a trick there because by the weapon descriptions and other item descriptions providing you information, you're going to get information out of order as well.
Yes.
So you might read a name and it'll be significant, and that significance will be lost on you because it's the first thing you read or the last thing you read. It's
Nothing better than being told the ending of an epic struggle of a hero character where they die heroically or tragically in battle, either one, and then you find the next one, it's this unlikely champion. Would he win, or would he die? It's like, oh, but I picked up the shotgun first, and this is the pistol. So,
But we've digressed quite a bit here.
We have. Let's move on past that, and let's move on using this Warthog. This is what Halo made its name for, really. These vehicles. Really the first time vehicles had ever been done, at least successfully, in a shooter. And they're good. I like them.
They put a lot of love and care into it, and it's fun to drive.
Here's the thing about the Warthog, though. Let's see if we can make it happen.
Oh boy.
The Warthog handles like total garbage, and I love it. I love every single thing about Halo 1's Warthog. It's so unimaginably terrible.
Would you look at that? As if to prove your point.
But, you know, people were like, oh man, it's so, you know, this is a sci-fi military. Surely a well-equipped and well-funded military would never outfit their troops with a light assault vehicle prone to rolling over with shitty handling. But yeah, the Halo 1 Warthog can do this on PC. Which I'm told it couldn't do on console. 0-point turning radius.
It's great. It's a lot of fun to just drive around in the Warthog, and it is utilized well in the first half of this game.
Yeah, but we've had enough of this lovely outdoor area. It's time for our first taste of Halo's native architecture.
This cave is not a natural formation. Someone built it, so it must lead somewhere. I've hacked into the Covenant battle network. They're actually broadcasting tactical data on unencrypted channels. You should show them who they're dealing with. Master Chief, I'm going to use your suit's transcom system to monitor their chatter.
Now,
not a natural formation. Your insight is dizzying, Cortana.
Now, see what they did there? They put a long, featureless hallway right where Cortana could exposit at us. This is a trick Bungie is still using to this day.
This is the evolutionary progenitor of the holding your finger to your ear and walking slowly technique.
Yeah.
Developers use.
Uh-oh.
Oh no! Farewell!
So it's time to talk about the plasma grenades. Famously, they stick to things.
Yeah, they're
That's about it. They're fun.
They're one of the things that make Halo Halo, right? Like they're one of the big identifying like plasma grenades. They're fun to use.
They are. That's the thing. People always comment about how like fun Halo is to play, and they're not wrong. Bungie knows how to make shooting work.
Yep.
I'm not. I will never say that Halo is not fun. I'll say it's poorly written. I'll say the level design is trash. I'll say the story makes no sense without just absolute tomes of supplemental material that isn't even collected nicely in one place. But it's fun to play. It's a lot of fun with friends.
Well, that's just it. If it wasn't fun, right? If you didn't enjoy it on some level, you wouldn't care about it. You wouldn't have as much to say about it. So,
yeah.
You know.
So, we mentioned we've seen 3 out of 4 Covenant enemies.
Mm-hmm.
We have now seen 3 out of 3 Covenant weapons. We have exhausted the alien arsenal on level 2.
Excellent.
This is the Needler. It does this. That's the last time you're gonna see me use this piece of shit.
The Needler in Halo 1 is, not amazing by any stretch.
It's never quite found a good balance, either. It swings wildly from game to game, and it's always either overpowered or useless.
Speaking of useless,
Oh,
hey,
good,
Rickon.
good work.
This room we're in.
It's very large, cavernous,
Yeah.
even.
Yep.
Nice purple haze to the distance. Lots of boxes for enemies to hide behind.
Can you discern a use for this room?
Not a
There
one.
must be some mechanism to cross this chasm. Look for a control panel or switch.
So,
Well,
okay, so
heard the hologram.
Cortana says there's a chasm. Let's take a look at that. Oh, that's a pretty big chasm. Oh, there's something blinking over there. Big chasm. Oh, you
Hi.
died?
I did, yes.
My condolences.
It's fine.
So this is our first look at, well, not really our first look, this is our first look at the interior of what we will come to learn is Forerunner architecture. The Forerunners are notable for using lots of right and 45-degree angles, for making lots of hallways, and putting lots of single-purpose rooms at the end of over-designed hallways. This entire area has a single button. We can use it to turn on this bridge. That's what it is. This is the giant cavernous space where you turn on the bridge.
It's the bridge room.
Is this a defensive point? If that were the
Maybe.
case, I figured that bridge would be longer, and maybe you don't even have these massive wide spaces on the other side because it's just more room to have to defend. Why not have a very narrow passageway with a much longer bridge?
Well, we passed through a narrow passageway, didn't we?
We did. It was full of right and 45-degree angles, a ceiling 4 stories high, and utterly featureless.
You could fly a plane through that thing.
We do fly a plane through it. Oh, I wasn't supposed to mention that part.
Oh, we'll get there.
But now, see, I've been harmed in this combat encounter. But there are no humans around. So, there's no health kit for me. That could be a problem.
Maybe. Only if there's more combat up ahead of us.
Well, I guess we're free and clear.
So hey, it's a good thing that bridge
There's
didn't,
new
you know,
traffic on the Covenant
shut off
Battle
while we were driving over it.
It's a
Map.
good
lot more
good thing
crew
this
made
place
it off
still
the
has
Autumn than I
power.
predicted. The
Yeah?
captain really gave them hell. If we can find Captain Keyes and the other survivors, we have a chance to coordinate an effective resistance.
Again, coordinator resistance. So the implication is that we are really kind of dickered by this crash
Yeah.
landing.
That sounds like we're going to make efforts to set up like a forward operating base of some kind.
Well, we're on our way to rescue stranded Marines. That's our
Yeah.
current stated objective.
Maybe they'll have
Which-
some health packs for me.
By the way, lovely sweeping music.
Yeah.
Score really pumps you up. And this area is notable for allowing you to take the objective any way you please. There are multiple locations we can drive to.
Lifeboat.
Uh,
No sign of survivors.
Yeah.
no Marines living.
Hey, health pack.
Oh, hey! Check
Why-
it out.
Why don't you pick this up so we can get a good look at it?
It is the sniper rifle.
Ooh. Ah.
It sounds like this.
Good sound.
Very good sound.
It would be a
I'll
real
drop
shame
it
if
in a moment.
another company changed that sound to make it more like someone hitting their mattress with a pillow. That would just
That
be
would be a shame.
wild.
Yeah, that would be awful. So, the sniper rifle is notable for a few things, and I'll drop it so you can use the scope. It's notable for multiple levels of magnification. You can turn on the night vision.
Ooh, green.
It doesn't really do much. It just sort of makes things green. Another thing that is notable about the sniper rifle is that it is, as far as I know, the only weapon in the Halo franchise that is modeled after a real-world firearm.
Oh, and what firearm is that? I've not heard of this.
So, a company in South Africa called Denel made a firearm called the NTW-20. And it was a big, swish, fancy anti-material rifle. And the sniper rifle in Halo is pretty much a one-to-one copy of it.
Does
Of course.
does this? I forget the acronym already. Does it have this like spectroscope, or is this like a directional microphone or something?
Oh, I have no idea what's going on with the scope in the Halo model. I don't know what that is.
Fair
But
enough.
the real world NTW-20, it has like a big magnified optic. It even has that funny brace over the scope to protect it from taking bumps and knocks.
Ooh.
Yeah. But this is where we actually get to go into the weapon design of
Yes.
Halo. So the sniper rifle is based on a real world firearm. The rest of the weapons in the arsenal are decidedly not.
Yeah, at least not in Halo 1.
Not in Halo 1. They borrow from some stuff as the series goes on, but we're talking about Halo 1. So the dispersion pistol, I'm sorry, plasma pistol, like all Covenant weapons, is it actually has a fairly distinct shape.
Yeah, it's swooshy.
So we'll actually show it off later, but if you look at the elites, their hands actually have 2 thumbs, and I believe 3 fingers or 2. I'm not actually entirely certain.
They have an even number of digits, as opposed to us Humies with our 5, which is an odd number.
So it's interesting because the weapons are designed in such a way that they can be wielded by a human.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of plausible that your dual-thumbed elites would design weapons that can be held in such a way. It becomes especially apparent with the plasma sword, but that's not something you can pick up in this game.
Nope. Thanks, Microsoft.
Anyway, the Covenant weapons have a very unique aesthetic. I don't think anyone will argue that.
Oh no, I think most of them look quite good. I've always been a fan of the design of the plasma pistol, especially. Oh, there we go.
Yep, the Warthog did the Warthog thing. So the human weapons are interesting because they borrow from real world elements, but generally they borrow more heavily from sci-fi.
Let's check it out.
Yeah.
Aliens, as mentioned. A few other like lesser known movies. Some of them are pretty original. Really doing work with that rotary chain gun.
Yeah, well, this will give me a good chance to show off how gunning actually works in the Warthog, because it's actually very pleasant. A lot of other games, even after Halo, would make it so that any gunner's crosshairs would follow the direction the driver was driving, which is not pleasant to try to work around. But no, in Halo, you get to look a different direction. It's good.
And
it's well put together.
Yeah, it is. It's mechanically sound. Funnily enough, it also sort of adds to the sci-fi vibe because it implies that the gunning platform for this, off-road four-wheeled vehicle is gyroscopically stabilized like a tank turret, which is that's pretty neat.
Speaking of the Warthog and Destiny 2, all these kind of confused me. Bungie makes the Halo series. They put the Warthog in, right? Driver, gunner in the rear, and a side gunner in the passenger seat.
We should search the interior of those structures.
Destiny is a series that encourages 3-player fire teams. Everything you can do, 3 players. No Warthog. Everybody has their own Sparrow, but those don't have guns on them.
It's a baffling omission.
And it's just like, I don't think Bungie was paying attention when they were making the Destiny games, because they basically... This is not going to turn into a Destiny critique, but Destiny basically plays like a worse, stripped-down Halo. And whenever I was playing Destiny, I was like, man, this would be way better if it was a Halo game.
For an evac.
It's a real shame.
Bungie makes interesting choices sometimes.
Yeah, they
And I-
certainly do.
I don't understand any of them.
Well, I can certainly understand one choice. The environment that we're in is pretty familiar.
It is.
Almost,
this blue tower. Oh, there we go.
it's almost like they copied the previous area.
Yeah.
What was that about rush
We should
development
secure
we
the
were
area
talking
before
about?
the dropship arrives.
Yeah, still not getting any clues as to what this place could be, though. I mean, it's got pipes. Is it like energy pumping station? Is this
Well,
like
there's
an
an interior this
off-gassing
time, look.
effect?
Look.
Oh yeah, we get to go inside. Well, maybe we'll find like some control room, or maybe like a barracks or something. Maybe it's like a mustering point, and the light is to signal people.
Oh, it's cavern.
Well, we've got a pit and some bridges over the pit. Well, what's over here? Maybe we missed something. Oh, it's just the same thing we saw coming in.
Oh, it's an exit. Well, okay, that solves that.
Yeah,
We
I
know-
guess
Echo 419 to Cortana.
I guess we know now that it's
We read you, Echo 419. We have survivors
it's a
and need
tower that
immediate
makes
dust off.
a blue light,
Roger, Cortana.
Yep.
On my way.
just like the other one.
Spotted additional lifeboats in your area.
So,
One near a rock slide,
Unreal.
and another near the head of the river.
Unreal
Hard to see from
showed
my
you a
altitude,
lot
but it
of
looks like there are more survivors.
things, right? You saw a lot
We're
of
on our way.
weird alien architecture from both the Nali as the native inhabitants of the world, and the Scar as the military industrial, invaders who had been exploiting the planet for decades or even centuries. And you never really get a sense for what some of the stuff is, but you can always surmise based on lore notes left in the area, based on what the Scar and the various ilk were doing in the environment. So some of the places were a mystery, but you could often solve that, and you could learn more about the world you were playing in. In Halo, you never solve that mystery. You get shown weird things, and that's it.
Well, you see, Halo is a video game. And a video game, you gotta have, things to fight in and on, and enemies to fight. And
I suppose you
it's
do.
funny. It's funny because they work so hard with diegetic enemy placement and weapon placement and equipment. They limit you to 2 weapons. They try to give you this feel of authenticity, right? And then the environments are just like big grey box in a canyon.
Oh look, we found another laser tower.
In a canyon. I mean, some of it
Marines
could
hiding in
be
the hills above
the original
structure.
Xbox's hardware, right? Like, we can only have so much geometry. But, I don't know.
Again, maybe then don't have such large areas and have denser ones that are better planned and better representative of what anything is supposed to be.
And to Bungie's credit, they do sort of start doing that as the series progresses. But we'll get to those.
Yeah, no,
We've got a lot of games to get through.
I've said before, I'm on record now saying, and I've said it plenty of other times, if Halo 1, this game, had come out not on Xbox, but on PC in 2001, 3 years after Unreal, 3 years after Half-Life 1, a year after Deus Ex, after
Oh,
Sin.
that one's really damning.
Right, after Sin, after the Half-Life expansions, after any number of other games, there would not have been a Halo 2. This is shallow. This is embarrassingly barren for a shooter of its era. But
It's
it didn't
style
come out
over
on
substance.
PC.
Yeah.
It didn't come out on PC, it came out on Xbox. It came out into an environment where it had no competition. Where the only other shooters of any note were GoldenEye, Turok, and Perfect Dark. And of those, I'd say Perfect Dark is the only one that could really make Halo have to try.
Perfect Dark holds up. Like, they did a port, an Xbox Live like remake sort of thing that gave it the. We'll talk about the controls in just a second. It holds up, actually. You'd be surprised. So
Affirmative, Foehammer.
yeah,
Ready for dust off. Approach when
it's
ready.
so it's funny because of Halo, there's a distinction. You've got console shooters, right? They're the default now, but at the time there was a distinction made. You got your arena shooters, your PC FPS games, your mil sims, and your console shooters. Arcadey, light, style over substance.
Yeah.
But to circle back, I think another big thing that sort of helped Halo bust through and become the breakout hit on the console wasn't just that it didn't have much competition, but let's talk about the control scheme for the console release.
Yeah. Well, before we do, I want to take a listen to what Cortana's saying here. Well, she just finished, but she said that, the Covenant are looking for the Pillar of Autumn's crash site. They've located it, right? They're moving towards it. Did we ever see the Pillar of Autumn crash?
We saw it going down, we didn't see it land. So, no, we don't know where it is.
That's a shame. It seems like if Cortana knows that they've found it, she should translate that for us, and we should make, our way to it. But I guess, Cortana's been doing a lot of the talking here. Master Chief has been kind of tight-lipped. I wonder if that's going to tie into the Bungie can't tell a story situation.
Well, yeah, they mentioned the Pillar of Autumn's crash site, but that's another problem with the first game. The disparate levels that you work your way through, their geographical relation to each other, non-existent. You never see one from the other. Which is funny because a big thing, a big point of praise for the Halo games is they do very large, gorgeous skyboxes, right? That create these stunning vistas. But they don't do the trick from Unreal, or even Half-Life, right? Half-Life 2 popularized it as well. They don't do the trick where they have an object in the skybox that you can see throughout the various stages to give you an idea of your, physical location in relation to it. So the Sunspire in Unreal.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to bring it up, I won't hog the Unreal discussion, but yeah, up from the very beginning of Unreal until you get to the self-named level, the Sunspire, you see it in the distance as part of the mountain range. And if you notice it, you'll see it in every skybox.
And that's a trick that Valve would perfect with Half-Life 2, right? Where it's like, we'll put a big object in our skybox, and as you move throughout the world, your position relative to it will change. And it's like, okay, I know where I am. Halo doesn't do that.
Nope.
They start doing that in, I want to say, I actually can't remember a specific example from Halo 2. I know they started doing it in 3.
Yeah, Halo 3 was really the first taste of, proper level-to-level continuity. Halo 1 has none. The Pillar of Autumn down to this area is the most we will ever see of that. Going forward, we will be taken off-screen to a new locale every mission, with no indication of how far away from our previous location it really is. Or, where in relation on the ring we are to where we had come
That's
from.
the last of them.
Roger that. I'm on my way.
And it
To illustrate the
New
point,
traffic on the Covenant
this
Battle
is a
Map.
short
I
game.
found Captain
Now hold on.
Keyes. He's being held on a Covenant cruiser, the Truth and Reconciliation, a ship I disabled before we abandoned the Autumn.
Oh.
The Truth and Reconciliation touched down on a desert plateau roughly 300 kilometers upspin.
So
that's it. That's the most we get.
that is the most
There's
we get,
our
not
ride.
just now,
Get aboard and
but
let's get
in
out of
the
here.
entire
Welcome aboard,
game.
Master Chief.
We know that we are going 300 kilometers upspin, which, a term borrowed from Larry Niven's Ringworld, means the direction in which the Ringworld spins for gravity.
Which is interesting because the ring doesn't spin.
Yeah, it's...
But yeah, it's well, you'll see it when we get to the next stage.
Yeah.
And we'll discuss the console controls then.
Yeah.
But
We'll have
for now,
plenty to talk about. Yep, this is our ride, and this is the end of the video. So, thanks for hanging out for, oh gosh, nearly 45 minutes. And we'll continue this in the next mission, Truth and Reconciliation, where we will reconcile the fact that, well, lots of things.
until then.